Good morning, I'm Taylor Upchurch. Today is Saturday, March 2nd. And March 2nd is a date familiar to most here in eastern Kentucky. 7 years ago today, a tornado outbreak devastated the region. Here's some of our coverage from that day. 4 different tornadoes affected 9 counties and 2 caused widespread destruction in West Liberty and Salyersville. The National Weather Service says this event featured the first EF3 or greater tornado in the Jackson forecast area since the Middlesboro tornado in May of 1988, a day many people will never forget. And I'm here with meteorologist Kelly McShane this morning. Kelly, I'm from southern Indiana, and my area actually saw a few tornadoes during this day. Now, you're not from this area. Do you know much about this event?
Well, Taylor, I actually did not experience this event, but I do remember being glued to the TV watching the coverage. It's actually events like this that fueled my passion to want to help others during severe weather conditions. But overall, we are looking at today not so severe. We are looking at pretty pleasant conditions. However, we are looking at a little visibility issues out in the mountains. 3 miles in both Jackson and Hazard, less than a mile in Pike County. Over towards the Cumberland Valley region, we are looking a little bit clearer, but overall, give yourself some extra time as we do have that patchy dense fog. So we're going to give you a yellow car for this morning, but mostly cloudy and dry conditions, and we're going to keep those dry conditions even as we head into your afternoon. Some peaks of sunshine definitely not out of the question. Your Twitter topics for today, we will stay mostly cloudy, but we do have some snow chances on the way and a new temperature trend. All of that is coming up at 7:12, Taylor.
Thank you, Kelly. In the confluence and Dry Hill communities of Leslie County, people remain trapped in their homes, surrounded by floodwater. Volunteers and county officials went out yesterday delivering supplies by boat to those in need. Officials say they've made several deliveries throughout the week, and everyone is grateful for the help. Grace Langdon is one of the people they took food and water to.
It means a lot to me. I bless them for everything that they're doing.
County officials tell us the National Guard set up in the county last night to assist with helping those trapped by flooding. And last weekend's flooding is causing big issues for many counties. Officials in Powell County say the damaged roads could be nearly $500,000 in repairs. High water was a huge issue. It caused Clay City to declare a state of emergency. Chelsea Jones talked to Powell County Judge Executive about the cleanup process they now face.
Floodwaters have receded in Powell County, revealing all the damage left behind.
Within the county, our eastern end seemed to have the worst, and like I said, they tend to have the most geography, as far as hills and drainage structure, so that was the most heavily hit area.
Officials say the flooding damaged roads and culverts. They're now estimating the cost of repairs.
In the county, we're probably going to see somewhere in the neighborhood of $500,000. We're still compiling some of the estimates to see for sure, as well as both cities have some damage.
Officials have been riding through neighborhoods looking for areas affected by last week's storm. They say repairs could take some time.
That's kind of frustrating, not only to ourselves, but to our residents, in that it's not something we have a problem we can just go out and fix. We have to get it documented, get the estimates, and make sure that we file the proper paperwork in order to make sure that we get reimbursed if it's an emergency situation.
Looking at the damage, officials say the situation could have been much worse.
Thankfully, there's no loss of life or severe incidents in that regard. So I think with this event, most people were well prepared as to what to kind of expect.
In Powell County, Chelsea Jones, WKYT.
Leaders in Powell County say to contact city leaders if you have flood damage to your property or if you see damage within the Clay City or Stanton city limits. And Buckhorn Lake is receding very slowly. In recent hours, it dropped about only 1.5 feet. It is still at roughly 829 feet. Winter Pool is 757 feet. The lake fell slightly short of breaking the all-time pool record. In Perry County, 2 former caregivers were officially sentenced. They previously pleaded guilty to abusing a patient. The abuse happened at a Hazard Mental and Physical Disability facility in 2016. Penny Cottle will serve a diverted sentence of 3 years. Her recommended sentence, John Hunley, was sentenced to 3 years, 5 years probated. Hunley admitted to dragging the patient across the floor and out onto the front porch of the building. Cottle pleaded guilty to seeing it happen, but not reporting it. And police in Laurel County say a man and woman are on the run after a robbery yesterday morning, and they fear what lengths they will go to stay away from police. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds talks to the officers about the incident.
Friday was just another typical morning at Love's truck stop in Corbin.
Well, it started out as a shoplifting offense,
but quickly made a turn for the worst as police say a duo robbed the store. The suspects went back to their van, and that is when the manager confronted them.
The suspect slammed the door on him and attempted to run him over and did, in fact, strike him,
starting a chase with police down Highway 770.
The deputy said as soon as he turned on the vehicle, he could tell the guy wasn't going to stop.
And police say the pursuit could have injured some children.
The suspect almost hit some kids that were waiting outside for a school bus.
Police say a dead end stopped him in his tracks, where he ran into the woods, leaving his van.
You know, this tells us that this is a dangerous individual and we need to get him off the road, because if he did these things, what else could he do?
Motivating police to stop them before they could potentially hurt anyone else.
The longer that it takes, the more likely they are to do something crazy. There's all kinds of bad things that could happen if we don't get these people into custody.
Police say the duo are still on the run, but they have had several leads and expect to identify and make arrests for the robbers soon. In Laurel County, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
We reached out to Love's travel stop in Corbin, who did not want to make a comment. And on Monday, a Perry County murder suspect will enter a plea. James McIntosh is scheduled for arraignment in the afternoon. He is accused of shooting Danny Mullins multiple times Wednesday along Four Seam Branch Road in the Glomar community. Deputies have not released a motive in the case. And we also learned the funeral arrangements for Danny Mullins. Visitation is tomorrow at County Line Community Church beginning at 6. The funeral is Monday at 1, also at the church. He was 42 years old. And Governor Matt Bevin tells our Gray D.C. correspondent he plans to sign the permitless concealed carry legislation when it gets on its desk. Senate Bill 150 passed in the House yesterday afternoon. The bill would allow Kentuckians who are legally allowed to own firearms the ability to conceal their weapons without a license. Currently, concealed carry permits come with a fee and training requirements. Governor Bevin says this bill is about recognizing the Second Amendment.
It recognizes the Second Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. That's really it. It doesn't break new ground. It simply says that people do indeed have the right to keep and bear arms.
Supporters say Kentuckians can already carry weapons openly without any training requirements, but if they carry a gun under a coat, they currently need a permit. Opponents of the bill worry what could happen if training requirements are dropped. And due to multiple school shootings last year, Jenkins Independent Schools planned a major renovation of the school. The renovations are to upgrade the school's safety from more advanced security at the front doors to rearranging the parking lot. It's nearly $2.1 million in renovations. But they recently found out a major project they were hoping for was not financially feasible.
You know, one of the things that we wanted to do in this project is we actually put as an alternate to have bulletproof glass on the first floor of our middle high school building. And, you know, when the bid came back, it came in at $700,000. I mean, that's just not a feasible number for a small district in Eastern Kentucky.
One of the things the school does already have is a school resource officer. They've also installed a surveillance system around the school. And coming up on Mountain News this morning, high school prom will be here before we know it. And one Eastern Kentucky school wants to make sure everyone gets the chance to go. And later in sports, we get the recap for last night's high school basketball region semifinal action. That's coming up.
Not too bad of a day today after this morning's fog, but snow chances are on the horizon. I have the full forecast coming up next.